R.E.M. never set their sights on fame and fortune, but by 1983, the buzz around their first album, Murmur, had turned into a roar.
I think Murmur ended up doing like 150,000, you know, but we also got press like we'd sold 1.5 million. And, you know, like 5-star reviews and stuff. And honestly, I think all of that was a little over the top, you know. I mean, it was a little embarrassing.
We're happy to have them making their national television debut with us tonight. Please welcome R.E.M.
When they traveled to New York to perform on Late Night with David Letterman in October of '83, R.E.M. was abruptly thrust into the spotlight. The four friends from Athens were the toast of the Big Apple. But for a shy Michael Stipe, center stage was a painful place to be.
It was a really big leap for me as a shy person just to present myself. You know, I had hair that covered my face and I could cloak myself in lots of layers of clothes and sing the way that I talk, which is very distinct and, articulated.
To deflect attention, Stipe hid behind Peter Buck when Letterman approached to interview the band.
He came across as maybe a little shy and awkward. He's not a natural-born rock star, Michael Stipe, the way that we think of, you know, Mick Jagger or Bono as natural-born rock stars.
I think he was always just a big star. I mean, he was working it. You know, he was all about the, like, 7 Chinese, share. And it was great. You just know what he's saying.
And the train conductor says, take a break, drive away.
Despite the glowing reviews, R.E.M. still struggled to pay their bills. Back on the road, the band was living hand to mouth.
We went like months at a time where we wouldn't even get to go in like a bathroom. I mean, you'd have to use the club bathroom and, you know, wash your hair in those sinks. You remember what the early 80s, what the punk rock kind of clubs were like. I mean, it was dire.
They traveled in this blue van with no seats in the back, and they would put all their equipment in the back, and when they would go and stay at hotels, 3 of them would go into one hotel room, 2 would go in the other, but they would keep rotating so that one person would sleep in the van. That was pretty much the plan.
When you live in a van together for about 5 years, you get real close.
In the winter of '85, R.E.M. flew to London to make their 3rd album. But the weather was brutal, and the recording sessions were an exercise in misery.
It was miserable, it was cold, it was snowing. We didn't know anyone there. We were working in the studio that was kind of dumpy and cold and a long way from the place we were staying. It was just everything about it was wrong.
They were this young band that had this modicum of success, and all of a sudden they're in London in the middle of the winter trying to finish this record, and yeah, it was a tough time for them. I never really, at the time, realized how serious it was. I guess we're looking back on it now and realizing how incredibly close to breaking up we came.
Peel back the mountains, peel back the sky, stop gravity into the floor.
For me, I was really wondering whether I really wanted to be in a band or not.
To say we got on each other's nerves is probably an understatement.
In the end, R.E.M. weathered the storm and decided to stick together.
We were totally, completely stressed out and exhausted and tired and dirty and underfed and all the usual complaints. And I loved all that. I mean, every day I thought, you know, this still beats working for a living.
Despite all the misery involved in making it, R.E.M.'s 3rd album, Fables of the Reconstruction, became their best-selling record yet. Growing legions of college students hailed R.E.M. for their uncompromising spirit.
College radio has been real supportive, but I don't know why we've picked up more fans there than anywhere else.
It's one of 3 things. They have more leisure time, more money, or they take more drugs, and I haven't decided which one.
Which do you think it is?
More leisure time.
By refusing to conform to any style, R.E.M. forged an image all their own. The more they resisted taking the easy road to fame and fortune, the more their legends grew.
Swan, swan, hummingbird, hurrah, we're all free now.
It seemed like the harder they tried to make it hard on themselves, you know, people would respect that. They're like, wow, this band's great. They did it the hard way.
Swan, swan, hummingbird.
R.E.M.'s the original college grunge band. Michael's imaged, you know, sort of this ragamuffin, poetic kind of image. You know, I think that paved the way for a lot of future college poets.
Fiercely devoted followers looked to R.E.M. for leadership, and the band made the most of it. Michael Stipe's singing had often sounded murky and mysterious, but by the mid-'80s he spoke his mind more clearly, both on and off the stage.
Michael realized that, well, as long as he's going to sing, he might as well, if he's got to sing clearly enough for people to hear, he might as well say what's on his mind. And I think a lot of what was on his mind was a lot of the injustice that you see in the world.
By the sky, sound the sky, believe the sky, and tell the sky.
I always did say that I didn't think that music and politics mixed, but I was going to try.
Stipe rallied opposition to President Ronald Reagan's conservative policies by making a series of public service announcements.
We have to tell the president to sign the motor voter bill.
Assault weapons are capable of shooting dozens of bullets in seconds. Help stop the violence. Advanced nations manufacture some 70,000 different chemicals. Please, avoid careless use and disposal of all that stuff.
Let's put our heads together, start a new country up.
Well, Michael was certainly addressing some issues that he felt pretty strongly about, and we all aligned with that. I mean, politically, we're all pretty much on the same page.
In the mid-'80s, R.E.M. was crowned America's best band. And seemingly overnight, their once painfully shy frontman had become the voice of a generation.
That's me in the spotlight.
Next, a private man is pressured to make his personal life public.
I thought it was dead obvious to everyone all along. You know, I was wearing skirts and mascara in 1981 on stage and in photo shoots.
And later, the monster turns on its creators.
It felt like a bowling ball hit my head, and the lights kind of dimmed.
When Behind the Music continues.